Hello, I am here with.
Andrea Libman.
And who do you play on the show?
I voice Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, also Pumpkin Cake and a few other incidentals.
What was the favorite episode that you voiced in?
Party of One.
Which character that you voiced is your favorite?
They're both awesome.
Do any of your characters reflect you in any way?
I don't think so. I think there are two ends of the spectrum. I'm more like in the realm of normalcy, hopefully.
What's your opinion on the Brony community?
I love them. Thank you for being the best fans in the world.
You heard it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, I am here with.
Andrew Francis.
And who do you play on the show?
I play Shining Armor. Twiley!
Is that right?
That's right.
So what was going through your mind when you were casted for the show?
Well, I had known the brand My Little Pony for quite a while. I had no idea that it was going to be such an insane hit like it was. Went in for the audition, got the breakdown for the character, decided to do a very genuine, a little bit surfer kind of voice for the role. I thought maybe he'd just have a little cool edge to him, and went into the audition and was very surprised and delighted that I got the part.
Would you ever do a show like this again?
Oh, 100%. I'd love to. Yeah. I mean, we're always looking for new shows and new fun things to do, and it's great when there's such a good fan base. So this really helps.
What was your favorite episode of the show?
Well, I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I love the Candlelight Wedding. I thought it was a great little season finale, and it's really fun to have kind of a two-part episode. It leaves you with a cliffhanger.
Of all the characters you've played, which is your favorite?
Well, I would say Shining Armor would definitely be my favorite. There's a few I can't talk about. And then Royal Guard was fun to play, too. I kind of put my Batman voice on. Well, look at this.
Yeah. What are some of the techniques you use to get into character?
To get into character, well, a lot of voice actors, myself included, will have sort of a line or a catchphrase that they'll sort of say to sort of pop them into their character's sort of persona. And so one that I like is Twiley. I'll say that, and I'll sort of kind of get where I'm supposed to be and then work from there.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
Brony community is awesome. Just like a lot of loving, caring, generous people. A lot of times at the charity auction is when I'm most surprised and just astonished at the generosity from the Brony community. When we were in Candlelight Gardens in Cleveland, we did the charity auction there, and just some of the generosity just really blew me away.
Are you aware of the website Reddit at all?
Reddit, yes, I am.
Well, I went on their My Little Pony board, and I asked about interview questions, so yeah. I have Reddit questions right here if you want to answer some.
All right, let's do it, yeah.
And there's Soul Rack. Okay, so one of them is, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck? You knew this was coming.
yeah, of course, that old question. I think a pony-sized duck, because if I was really fighting, then I could just give him a boot.
If you could choose an actor, a voice actor, dead or alive, to guest in a show, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Who's that guy who plays Bender?
Okay, I know his name too.
That guy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
I am Andy Price. I am the illustrator, the penciler and inker for the official My Little Pony Friendship is Magic comic book from IDW Publishing.
When did you start drawing?
Well, I've been drawing all my life, but professionally I started drawing in, professionally working as an illustrator, I started in 1990.
What was the favorite company you worked for so far?
Easily IDW has been my favorite. They're great to communicate with. They're just great guys all around, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun.
What was your favorite comic to work on?
I know I sound biased, but so far it's been My Little Pony. I've worked with DC and I've worked with Marvel and Boom and Image and Innovation and a lot of other companies, but this project has just been the most fun, and certainly the best feedback, which is half the fun.
Now, if you want to answer Reddit questions.
Sure. Come on, Reddit, hit me.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony?
I knew you were going to ask that. I knew you were going to ask that. All right, say it again.
The question was, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized?
Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck? Well, duck is delicious. I love duck, and especially seared. So I'll say one pony-sized duck, because if I win, I get to reap the benefits. And 100 duck-sized ponies would kind of frighten the hell out of me. I'd probably run and scream like a little girl and pee all over the place. So
Don't go to the miniature pony races.
no.
Oh, look, another fight question. Would you rather fight unicorns, pegasi, or earth ponies?
Ooh, I would rather fight earth ponies because I'm on the same term. A Pegasus can fly away and dive bomb me, and a unicorn can get me where the sun don't shine. So,
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
Hello, I am here with...
Amy Keating Rogers.
She is a writer on the My Little Pony series and a bunch of other fantastic series. One of my thing is, out of all the shows you've written, what is your favorite?
Actually, quite honestly, My Little Pony is my favorite show to write for. The characters are so well developed and the world is so complete. Lauren did such a fantastic job just building everything to begin with that writing for those characters, writing for that world is a lot of fun.
What was your favorite episode that you got to write?
I can only discuss the ones that have aired. A Friend Indeed. With Pinkie Pie and Cranky Doodle Donkey, because I got to write the Smile song, and Pinkie had a couple other little ditties in there, the Cranky Doodle song, the Welcome song, so that was definitely my favorite because it was Pinkie-centric, and I love writing for Pinkie.
What inspired you to start writing?
I needed another course when I was in college to finish in order to graduate. I was a theater major, and I had taken all of the courses kind of that I wanted to take and the required courses, but it was my senior year, and I needed to take a class that semester, and it was down to speech. Obviously, I didn't take that because I'm terrible at it. And playwriting. And so I started writing plays, and I discovered, much to my surprise, that I was very good at writing characters.
What does the process usually get to start from an idea to the final product?
In general or on Pony?
In general.
In general, coming up with that kernel of an idea and then fleshing it out, making sure you have, for me, it's very important that you have developed characters. You can come up with a funny idea, but if you don't have the characters to kind of hang that idea, to carry it through. Really coming up with that and really making sure you have enough information. It's really characters. Characters kind of give you everything.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
I think the Brony community is really fun, really awesome. This is my 5th convention, and I'm seeing familiar faces, so people who I've seen at either BronyCon or Midwestry or Canterlot Gardens or Equestria LA. I'm getting to know people. Which is fantastic. I had a little experience with an unexpected fan base with Powerpuff Girls, and so while this is much bigger than the male audience that we had for the Powerpuff Girls, I kind of had a familiarity of having an audience that you don't expect.
Quick thing, for the people who don't know, what other shows have you worked on?
I've worked on the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Johnny Bravo, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I've done episodes for Fairly Odd Parents. I was story editor of Care Bears. Trying to think. I've done some preschool stuff. But yeah, that's.
You might not be able to talk about this, but Samurai Jack movie.
Not that I know of, but that's something that Gendy always wanted to do. So that wouldn't surprise me, and I think it'd be fun to see Jack again.
Did you work on Dexter's Rude Removal?
No, I didn't. That was before. That was the seasons before I came on. But I, of course, I got to see it when I was working at Cartoon Network.
Are you aware of Reddit?
Yes.
Okay. I have asked Reddit for a few questions if you want to answer some questions from Reddit.
I can try.
Okay. This question is from Southpaw_XI. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
I've heard this one before. I think 100 duck-sized ponies.
This one is from Lightstriker_QC. A lot of underscores. If you could choose an actor, dead or alive, to voice a guest character, what would that character be like? You can't say Morgan Freeman, they said.
Oh, I wasn't going to. I go more old school. I think the first thing I thought of was Cary Grant, so I'm going to go with Cary Grant because Cary Grant has a very distinctive voice. And what would he be like? Well, he'd be a pony version of Cary Grant. I don't know exactly what that'd be, but that'd be fun.
Thank you so much for the interview.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the con.
I hope that boom mic caught everything.
Oh, we're using this mic.
That really is a mic? That is weird. I thought it was kind of. I was like, is that a joke mic? Is he just?
Oh no, it's real mic.
It's truly a mic?
Yeah, that one's just for show.
That's not for show. That's for show.
I'm just really.
That's a mic.
I'm just really lazy. I'm not taking that off because it's on a rig that I use.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you get to hear me talking about the mic. You can edit that out.
It might be in the long form one I'm going to upload
Okay.
for Unicon. Yeah. Hello, I am here with.
Brenda Crichlow.
And who do you play on the show?
I'm Zakora.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
Well, I was thrilled, and it was quite the process to get the part. I mean, it kind of metamorphosed working with the director and, to find the character and find the voice.
Would you ever do a show like this again?
Absolutely. Sure.
What's your favorite episode of the show?
I think it would have to be when I was first introduced, which was Bridal Gossip, and that was when the other ponies weren't too sure who I was, and there was a lot of judgment going on until they realized that I was actually there to do more good than evil.
Out of all the shows you've worked on, which has to be your favorite?
Out of all the shows, well, I do film and television as well. I don't know if you know that, not just
That's why I asked of all the shows.
I didn't know you knew. Out of all the shows, I have a few favorites. Earlier on in my career, Jump Street was a fun one. I got to play a gang girl where the undercover cops had to jump into my gang, so I got to be a tough girl. That was fun. Outer Limits was another fun one. I have a few. Too many to name. It's always nice to play some characters where you get to sink your teeth into and be bad.
Which character that you have played? Oh, I already asked that. What are some techniques you usually use to get into character?
Some techniques? Let me think. I guess a lot of it has to do with trying to find where the character is going to sit vocally. So for Zakora, for example, she sits low. She sits down here. So if I'm in the studio, then I'm imagining her to be a little bigger than, sorry, a little bigger than myself, and grounded. So my posture changes. So we try to incorporate body into it as well. So for my range, she sits a little lower down than some of my other characters that I have done, which makes it a little higher in my register. Her cadences are a little slower. Sometimes you get a balance of characters that are quicker, but Zakora is very low. She's here, she's very precise when she talks. And I try to channel some of my West Indian roots, a little bit of African in there too. It's a jambalaya of things.
What do you think of the Brony community?
You know what? Everybody's been fantastic. My very first convention was last year. This is my second, and everyone has been ever so gracious. I've had some fans that have come back up to meet me that I met first in LA, and just lovely and gracious and very talented. I've met many gifted people. There's a few gifted artists. Here's one. Look at this guy. This is a fellow named Neil. Look what he's made. And there's my pot. So, a lot of talented bronies. So I'll give a shout out and say, I'll see you soon.
Cool. And you're aware of the website Reddit, right?
Am I aware of the website?
Reddit?
No. Inform me.
It's a website full of a bunch of people, and there's this whole subgenre of the brony community, and I asked them for questions. Would you like to answer some questions from people on the internet?
You have one or two?
Okay.
Sure.
I have two.
Okay.
One's a little out there, one's more professional.
One's a little out there.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
Would I say that again? Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck? Now, is that a play on words? I don't even know how I'm going to answer that. That sounds to me like that's a trick question, almost like if you're taking like the LSATs or something. I really don't know.
If you could choose an actor, dead or alive, to voice a guest on the show, who would it be?
If I could choose an actor, dead or alive, to come and voice on the show, who would it be? Maybe Whoopi Goldberg. I'd always love to meet her.
I'm trying to imagine a Whoopi Goldberg pony right now.
She'd be great. She'd be funny.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Sure. My pleasure. Nice to meet you. Cheers.
Hello, I am here with...
Britt McKillip.
And what was your favorite episode of the show you have voiced in?
Well, the royal wedding, of course. That was pretty awesome to be a part of, and that was probably my favorite, yeah.
What was your favorite show that you've ever voiced in?
Outside of My Little Pony?
It can be My Little Pony if you want it.
My Little Pony has been pretty cool. It's been a big highlight of my career as a voice actor, so that was pretty cool to be a part of it. So,
which character that you voiced is your favorite?
I have to say Princess Cadence because I've never been able to play a princess before, and I've always said I wanted to play a princess. So that's probably Princess Cadence.
Does your character reflect you in any way?
I don't know how much of a princess I am, but I wish. Not sure.
Do you want to talk to us about your band, One More Girl, what they're about and everything, genres?
Yeah, well, I'm in One More Girl with my sister Carly, and we've been doing that for a few years, and we have an album out, and we're in the middle of recording our next album, and just released our new single, and we're putting a video out, and yeah, so it's been pretty fun.
Are you aware of Reddit at all?
No.
A website called Reddit?
No.
Well, I asked them for questions because I said I was interviewing people. Would you like to answer questions from random people on the internet?
Sure.
Okay. One of them asks, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
One pony-sized duck.
I think.
I love ducks.
I love ducks. Carly used to call me Baby Ducky when I was little. So, a duck.
If you could choose one voice actor, dead or alive, to be a guest voice on the show, who would it be?
If I could choose what?
If you could pick a voice actor, dead or alive, to be a guest on the show, who would it be?
Probably my sister.
I was totally joking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hello, I am here with...
Cathy Weseluck.
And who do you play on the show?
I play the voice of Spike and the mayor and various little others, yep.
What was your favorite episode that you voiced in?
Oh boy, there's a few of them. The one that's, I forget the titles of the episodes themselves, where Spike was babysitting all the animals was one of my favorite ones so far. And the Owlicious one too. I still like that one. Yeah.
What was your favorite show that you voiced in?
My favorite show? Well, My Little Pony is one of those favorites, but I also did a show called Cyber 6, which was an anime show that I really enjoyed doing. Yeah.
Which character that you have voiced is your favorite?
Oh, there's so many of them. Again, they all have different personalities and character traits. So I don't like to say that there's a favorite. Although Spike is, of course, a cutie right now, so I love doing him. But any character that provides a challenge for me. Shampoo was one, and another anime one. I've done some Barbie videos, and also just Dennis and Kid vs. Cat was another one that I like too.
Do your characters represent you in any way?
All of them do. My multiple personalities. No. Well, I'd say every character reflects a little bit of all of us in different ways. Yeah.
How did you get started in voice acting?
Oh, I actually worked at the CBC in Toronto, because I'm originally from Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. And from there, I was an associate producer for a radio show, and the host of the show asked me if I have ever done commercials and would I like to do some. So I said, sure, I'd love to do that. So I tried my luck at it, and it went really well. And from there, I started to do voiceover, and then I did some cartoons.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
I think the Bronies are fantastic. It's so great to meet everybody in person, and I'd love to be able to go to every convention I possibly could just to meet everyone, but I just think that's such a wonderful group with a lot of heart, and I hope we can continue to spread that.
Hello, I'm here with
Cindy Morrow,
another writer for My Little Pony. So, what was your favorite episode of My Little Pony that you wrote for?
I really enjoyed writing Read 'em and Weep.
What was the favorite TV series that you have written for?
I've really enjoyed a lot of the shows that I've written for. I probably have to say this one, as well as the very first show that I worked on, which was Powerpuff Girls.
What inspired you to start writing?
Actually, I started off as a storyboard artist, so I drew for a living, and then after my children were born, I wanted to have a job that wasn't as intensive, so I started doing writing from home. So that's how I got into more of the writing.
What does the process usually take to get from an idea onto paper and then onto show?
Well, in this particular show, My Little Pony, we all have a writer's summit, and we submit ideas together. And then once the ideas are approved, we'll have a story meeting, and we'll talk out the whole story. And usually we put note cards on a wall, or we write on a whiteboard, and we get all those ideas down. And then I will write like a 6-page outline, outlining all of the things that happen. And once that's approved, then I'll take it to script. So from the beginning to the end, it's probably like a 6 to 8 week process.
Forgot that there was a front page.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
I think the Brony community is awesome. I'm really pleased to be around all of these people.
What's your favorite pony on the show?
My favorite pony is Rainbow Dash.
Have you ever made your own pony?
I have made my own pony, and I'm Bacon Sizzle because I like bacon.
Are you aware of Reddit?
Yes.
I asked on Reddit for questions to ask in an interview. Would you like to answer some of the questions from Reddit?
Sure.
Okay. One of them is, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
Oh, one pony-sized duck, for sure.
If you could choose an actor, dead or alive, to work on the show as a guest voice actor, who would you choose and why?
Wow, that one really requires some thought. Probably Chris Farley. And why? Because he was an amazing comedian.
And lastly, another fight one. Would you rather fight unicorns, pegasi, or earth ponies?
Earth ponies, because they don't have magical powers, and they can't fly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, I am here with
Garry Chalk.
So, knowing that you've been part of many shows and games, which was your favorite to work on?
I think my most favorite show that I ever worked on was Sonic the Hedgehog with the character of Grounder and Scratch. They were quite fun. We had a lot of fun. We got to ad-lib a lot, and it was just a funny show, and it was off the wall, and it was great. And I think that was one, and Reboot Hack and Slash. two other one of my favorite characters to work with and play with. But all of them, I've worked, I don't know, maybe 50 or so series, and all of them had their special moments. I don't think there was any one that I really hated. There were some that were not very pleasant to work on, but for the most part, just being a cartoon character and acting as a cartoon character is absolutely hilarious.
I was actually going to ask you about Grounder too.
Huh?
I was actually going to ask you about Grounder later on.
About Grounder?
Yeah.
Well, Grounder is probably one of my favorite characters because of the way that Grounder was born. Originally, I played the character of Scratch, but the toy companies or the cartoon creator didn't like the voice, and so they asked us to come up with something brilliant right away, or we were going to be fired. The other actor and myself. So we tried all these different things, and nothing worked. And then I said, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's switch roles." So we switched roles. He became Scratch, and I became Grounder. And we came up with a voice. "Hey, I'm not stupid. I just lost for a moment." And they said, "Oh, that's good. That works fine. Thank you very much." And we continued on with the series.
So, what are some of the techniques you use to get into character?
Well, to get into character, one of my favorite techniques is to find the laugh of the character. If I find the laugh of the character, usually I have it pretty good. And I also have gestures, like there's the heroic gesture and the creepy gesture. You find a gesture that's suitable to a particular cartoon character, and sometimes it's going to be something stupid like scissors. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. And when you do that, it sort of locks you in. It's quite funny.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
I'm sorry?
What was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
I said, the first thing I thought of was, I think my voice is too big for My Little Pony. It's because I'm a big bass kind of voice. And all the My Little Pony characters are kind of small and cute and wonderful. And I thought, do I have the capacity for cute? Maybe. So I came up with the character of Diamond Dog. And he says, I'm going to take the little pony. So, because little ponies belong to me. So, and I thought, well, that's a good voice for it. And he looks like that, you can see. Hi, I'm Diamond Dog Fido. So I thought to myself, well, this will be interesting. But, stranger things have happened. I actually played a long-running character in the Care Bears, of all things. And I always thought I'd never get cast in Care Bears because, again, they're all really cute and cuddly. And cute and cuddly doesn't come to mind when you look at me.
So what are your thoughts on the Brony community?
The Brony community, so far, from the people I have met and what I've seen so far, it's quite something. That people are very friendly and affable and quite committed to the characters that they have. I think they're broken up into herds. They have little herds of people who specify with a certain group and identify with a certain group, and it's very nice to see. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I feel like I'm holding this up, so...
No, you're not holding it up at all.
Starting in half. Yeah, so
edit that part.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Hey, no worries. And have more fun meeting everybody around here. It should be a lot of good times. Keep on believing, having a wonderful time. Enjoy yourself.
What would be the best show that I've worked on? Well, I've also done a lot of shows that you haven't seen. That is to say, a lot of stage shows. And so probably the ones in which I would say to you are those. Although I guess the things that stand out in my mind are from film work is Days, Legend, Star Trek, Breaking Bad, Fearless, Onion Field. I was in the Onion Fields. In any case, those things. Hand That Rocks the Cradle, something like that. Yeah. what was going through my mind when I was cast as My Little Pony. Nothing was actually going through my mind. I said sure, and I did it. I didn't know what it was really.
Would you ever do a show like this again?
Yeah, of course I would do a show like this again. Yes.
I know that you worked on a documentary about bronies. Want to talk about that a little bit?
What would you like me to talk about?
The whole thing about what's it about.
Well, the documentary that we did on bronies was really a you know what? Come a little closer over here. No, you don't move. You move. No. You get closer to the camera. Keep going. There we go. That's where you should be. There. That way I don't need to split. The point of the documentary was to create sort of a Brony 101 to initiate a worldwide audience that doesn't know anything about bronies except their initial reaction is sort of a negative one. So that was a big enough hurdle right there. I mean, that was a huge hurdle, frankly. So that's what we did. That's what we considered to be our task, and that's what I think we did quite successfully. I like the brony community. I think that they are, for the most part, a group of really polite, smart, involved, let's make things work out type of people.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, I am here with
Lee Tockar.
And you play who on the show?
I play Snips of Snips and Snails.
And Stephen Magnus, who's fabulous. And
The mysterious shopkeeper. Would you like that gift wrapped?
And the foul-mouthed beaver.
Are there any favorite episodes of the show you've been in?
Oh, yes. My favorite are the ones that I'm in.
Would you ever do a show like this again?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love doing cartoons. This is my career, and especially when I get to work with all these cool people. I mean, I work with all these guys on lots of different shows. Just this is the one that's really caught on. hey, photo bomber. Wow, there's a man of mystery right there. How do you say that? How do you Mike this is Mike the microphone. Mike the microphone.
How's it going, Lee? How you doing?
Good. We were just Mike the microphone and I were in a panel together this morning, actually.
Dude, that was awkward.
Why? No, you were just.
Dude, no, that was seriously awkward. I was sitting on the edge there waiting for Draft to just like give me a minute to chime in, and then he just goes down the warpath, and I'm like,
it's if you're sitting with me and Tab the Saint Germain,
Yeah,
Cathy
dude,
Weseluck,
no.
you've got to just
No,
you got to jump in.
I am too polite for that. I don't know
No,
y'all that well.
you've got to jump. You've got to jump in.
You're too polite for that.
No.
Welcome to the group interview.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Yeah, the next question was.
Okay, see you later. Mike the microphone, everybody. Mike the microphone.
So, what inspired you to? Oh, that's not your question.
That's not what inspired.
What inspired you to start writing? What inspired you?
I actually do write though. But I do write. I've written for 2 of the penultimate season finales for League of Super Evil because I play Dr. Frog on the League of Super Evil and Glory Guy, and I've written for loads of stuff. And I have a movie that I'm writing right now called The Grim Possession of Chesterfield Couch.
How did you get started in voice acting?
I was a class clown. And I did stand up when I was a little kid. I started doing talent shows, and then I started doing stand up. I did stand up for like 15 years, and then I decided I wanted to eat and not starve anymore. So I took up voice acting.
What's your opinion on the brony community?
I think I've been involved in a lot of fandoms. It is one of, everybody probably says this, but I'm not saying anything new. Some of the most creative, genuinely sweet and nice people, obviously. I mean, friendship is magic. It's a good thing to tout to the world. But like generally, like full of artists, full of very, very creative musicians, writers. I mean, the whole it's untapped and it's unprecedented. It's really crazy.
And I hear that you're the founder of fanbuilt.com. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, yeah, fanbuilt.com. We have a very rudimentary site up right now because I wanted my team to start to launch on December 21st, 2012 at the end of the world, as the Mayan calendars would predict. So it was kind of cheeky, but we got a rudimentary one up there. We've got an angel investor jumping on board. We're going to have the new forums. We're basically a virtual animation studio and the first one of its kind. We're bringing voice actors, we're bringing writers who could drop off scripts, voice actors who could take those scripts from all around the world and voice them, upload them back, and then having animators or designers take those and animate them, and we're going to have monthly contests to gather up all of this greatest stuff, and we're going to package it together. We're going to pay them in contests, and we're promoting creativity. This fandom has proven that there's already people doing really amazing things for free. I just want to pay them because that's what someone should do.
And anyone can get involved, right?
Anyone can get involved, and it's completely free.
Are you aware of the website Reddit?
Yes, I am.
Well, I went on there. I asked for some questions because I said I was interviewing a bunch of people. So I have some Reddit questions if you want to answer some.
I don't mind answering anything. My life is an open book. I know there's hundreds of thousands of web pages on me, so I don't have a choice, and I don't have a criminal record, so I don't care.
Well, here's one of them. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
Can I have that question again? Would I rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies? That would be like a swarm. That'd be hard. I think one pony-sized duck. Yeah. One I can handle. But 100 of them swarming all over you like that? And, the mess. We're not even talking about the mess.
If you could choose one actor, dead or alive, to be a guest in the show, who would it be? And they said you can't choose Morgan Freeman.
Well, then I can't answer because it would obviously be Morgan Freeman. Obviously. I mean, come on, obviously. One actor, dead or alive. Well, Ingrid Bergman comes to mind only because I think she's beautiful. Then, let's see, who else? Mel Blanc. Obviously. Mel. God rest you. Thanks for the inspiration.
And would you rather fight unicorns, Pegasi, or earth ponies? Don't.
Why is there so much fighting? Reddit. What are you doing? Reddit? No. It's about friendship. Reddit. Sorry. Sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm being fantastic again. Sorry. Okay, go on. What's your fighting question? Let's hear it.
Would you rather fight unicorns, earth ponies, or Pegasi?
Earth ponies? Oh, unicorns, earth ponies, or Pegasi. Okay. I wouldn't like to fight a unicorn, obviously.
Because Snips is a unicorn as well.
But because they already come with a weapon, right? So it's like, would you fight a hippo or a rhino? Well, a hippo, because you can get stabbed by a rhino, as opposed to just getting squashed. Rhino can squash you and then stab you, or stab you then squash you. And Pegasi, well, they could just hoof you to death and then fly away. Or they could grab you by the hair and fly away and drop you. These are really mean questions, Reddit. Really mean. Earth ponies, Earth ponies, I guess. Oh, I'd like to fight, can it be living or taxidermied?
Sure.
A plushie. I'd rather fight a 1 foot tall duck-sized plushie pony.
Well.
Sorry. Awkward stare.
Well, that's it for the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And
hello, I am here with
M.A. Larson.
So, what was your favorite episode of the? What was the favorite episode of the show you've written?
It'd either be The Return of Harmony, because that was super fun 2-parter with really interesting villain in Discord, or the super speedy Cider Squeezy, because I'm an Applejack fan. and I love writing that song. That might be the single most fun thing I've done on the show is writing that song. And I just love the vibe of that episode, the teamwork and the whole thing. So one of those two, I guess.
What was the favorite show you've worked for?
This is going to sound like a total cop-out, but it's this one. It's I love the way it's set up. I love working with this team. It's one of the few shows I've worked on where I watch it on TV and I'm like, wow, that's really good. That's what I meant. That's what I wanted it to be. Excuse me. There's others too, but there's a lot of shows where you end up watching it and thinking, oh, they kind of gutted that line, or they didn't quite, and this show ends up being better than what I wrote, and that's really fun to see on TV. So it's this one.
What inspired you to start writing?
I wanted to be a movie director. I always loved movies. I was obsessed with movies. My dad was really into it, got me into it. And I went to college for writing, directing, and then I produced a short film and absolutely hated it. It was awful. I hated being on set. I couldn't stand the stress of it. Getting up early, the whole thing was not for me. So I segued into writing exclusively and then started writing. I wrote a Green Hornet movie when I lived in New York before I moved out here. And then got into animation once I moved to LA.
Are you aware of Reddit at all?
I am aware of Reddit, yeah.
I asked Reddit for some questions for this interview. If you want to answer some from Reddit,
let's do it.
Okay. You know what you're in for, right?
I have an idea.
Okay. There's a Reddit classic. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
Pee Wee Herman tweeted about this section not that long ago. This is getting out there. I'd like to see the little tiny ponies. I think that would be fun. That would be my choice, especially if they quacked. Then I'm in. Give me the 100 duck-sized ponies.
If you could choose an actor, dead or alive, to voice a guest character, who would it be and why?
I would choose. I don't know if you know who Werner Herzog is. No. If you Google him and listen to his voice, he's got the most amazing voice. He's a German or Austrian film director, and he's just got the most incredible voice. And he's done some acting too. He's been in some things. So, Werner Herzog.
Another fight question. Reddit loves fights. Would you rather fight unicorns, pegasi, or earth ponies?
I think unicorns, because they'd be really cocky and think, this is magic. But then, earth ponies know. Let's go with unicorns.
One more question. What are your thoughts on the brony community?
I love the brony community. It's something that obviously none of us have ever expected. But I was just talking to this guy, actually, just right here, about all the amazing stuff that the brony community does. The insane amounts of charity money it raises, and how people come up and tell me, I met my friend through this, and this, the show is about friendship, and Lauren created this thing where Twilight's mission is to learn what that means, and that somehow on a show nobody should by any rights should be watching, on a network nobody gets, infiltrated into popular culture, and it's absolutely amazing that it's created real friendships in the real world, and I love that. And coming to these things is awesome. I get to see that that's true. I love the brony community.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Hello, I am here with
Mark Oliver, and I play Gustave Legrand on My Little Pony.
So, are there any memorable characters you played during your career that you will never forget, and why?
I have had recently played a couple of characters. One on the show Ninjago, and I play an awful man called Lord Garmadon. And for some reason, it could be because it's written in Scandinavia, but they let me get away with a tremendous amount of stuff that I'd normally never ever get to do. For example, I can talk about my weird dysfunctional relationship with my dad, which strangely mirrors some of my own real life experiences. The other character that I enjoy playing tremendously, again, is one where they gave me a lot of leeway, a lot of license to create this character. And this character's name is Dr. Thaddeus Black, and that is a show for Disney Nerdcore called Slug Terror. My field of specialty is really in playing supervillains. and I have devoted my career to the study of evil and how to incarnate that in a compelling fashion.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
It's such an incredible high to know that you are going to participate in a show as iconic as My Little Pony. It exists out there, but you think it's a world that will never really touch you in any way, shape, or form. And then the day arrives, and you try to prepare as best you can. So, I don't know, it could just a lucky coincidence, the right person at the right time in the right place. I was thrilled.
Would you ever do a show like that again?
In a heartbeat. And sooner as opposed to later. Now, there are some castings coming up on the horizon, so I'm not really at liberty to talk about right now, but we'll see. I'll have to work extra hard to be a good pony.
What are some techniques you usually use to get into character?
Yoga. I've been a yoga practitioner for over 14 years. Our work is extremely cerebral in nature, but actually the ironic thing is, in order to do it well, it's very important to empty your mind completely. I do a lot of breathing techniques because we are asked to do, incredible screams, or the director will say, "Oh, that was spectacular, fall off of that cliff. Now we're going to add another 200 feet to that fall." So yoga has been very good just in terms of breath control, expanding your lung capacity, and focus.
Thank you. And lastly, of all the shows you worked on, which was your favorite and why?
The one that I'm about to do. I don't think I have a favorite show. I think I like when there's a very sympathetic relationship with the writers, and you may find that in the course of a voice career, the writers watch what you do. They watch what little idiosyncrasies you bring to the table, and then they start to write around that. And you go, my goodness, they're writing around my personality traits. So I like that. I like that sort of environment. I've been waiting all my life to do the role I'm about to do next. That's the way I feel about it. So that's a very, very evasive way of answering that question, but I hope it helps.
One more thing.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
Speaking as somebody, to be frank, I led a very marginalized sort of upbringing to the point where I had terrible ADD, and I went to deaf school from the time that I was 6 to when I was 8. So to feel that I'm welcomed in this community, A, of voice actors, and B, of the My Little Pony community itself, is a wonderfully validating experience for me.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Hello, I am here with
Maryke Hendrikse.
And who are you the voice of on the show?
Gilda, the Griffin.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for MLP?
It was pretty cool because I like playing playing characters that are kind of evil. So I thought, oh, that's fun. It's going to be a fun day at work.
Would you ever do a show like this again?
Totally, absolutely.
What is your favorite episode of the show?
Well, I like the one I'm in because I, of course, remember all the fun things that was going on when I was recording. Tara was up from LA that day recording, so we got to record with her. So that's probably my favorite episode just because all the things, like my own memories of it.
How much does your character reflect you?
Not much. I'm not mean, but I can sometimes lose my temper, shall we say.
Out of everything you've worked on, which has been your favorite so far?
Two things. Revy on Black Lagoon and Susan Test on Johnny Test. Those are my favorite shows and my favorite characters.
Oh yeah, you did play Susan, didn't you?
I do, yeah. We just finished season 6, actually. So it'll be probably start premiering season 6. Season 6 will probably premiere in couple of months maybe.
What are your thoughts on the brony community?
Awesome. Everybody's sweet and nice and patient and kind and really enthusiastic, so it's nice to see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Michelle Creber. Hi, everyone.
And who do you play on the show?
I play the speaking voice and singing voice of Alpha Bloom and singing voice of Sweetie Belle.
So, what was the favorite episode that you have voiced in?
I really liked the episode Cutie Pox because I got to do all the fun little accents that she, spinning plates and all the French accent. My sister speaking in fancy. Ashley gets to say that and everything. And I think that's also a episode where she finds herself a little bit more and, she has to tell the truth and admit to her friends and family and stuff. So, she kind of evolves in that episode, and I think that's why it's very special.
What has been the favorite show that you've worked on?
Oh, I'm going to say My Little Pony, but that's, kind of a lame answer because, it is my favorite show, but another thing that I really love is I got to do a movie called Smart Cookies, and I got to star in it with 4 other girls my age, and we became really, really good friends, and it was just very fun to see them on set every day, and I got to sing in that one too, so.
Does your character reflect you in any way?
I don't know, we're kind of different people. Apple Bloom is a little bit more mischievous. I mean, I can be mischievous, but she's a little less patient, but that's why she's likable, because she learns to, not just think about herself, think about others and stuff. And yeah, I guess once she, at the end of each episode, I'm more like her when she, kind of figures out what she's supposed to do every day. So, yeah.
How do you see your voice acting and acting career in the future?
I just hope to be doing exactly what I love and what I'm doing right now, seeing all the fans and making them happy and tweeting and doing concerts and more film and TV and voiceover, and that's what I want to do with my life, so hopefully that works out.
Are there any shows on now that you would like to be a part of?
I could think of, a lot of great shows out there right now. The business is really at its high point. I love film and TV as much as I do voiceover, so if there's a project that comes up, sure, yeah, I'll do it,
What are some techniques you usually use to get into character?
Well, I can just randomly go into character, so I don't really think about it. That's what we do for a living, so we just like to switch in the different voices all the time, we go into different voices and we talk like this and then some British, you just kind of go into it right away and then don't really think about it.
So how did you get started in voice acting?
Well, I started off with music mostly. My parents run a music school called Creber Music, and my dad is a producer and a director as well as my mom, and he's a professional pianist, and he was working on this project that needed some young voice artists, and so a couple of friends and I from the music school did the gig, and it was awesome, and so I just started doing things from there, and I got an agent, and then I did the voice of Lucy and Charlie Brown, and then I just started booking things and loving it ever since.
Yeah, I noticed that when on Friday you came in and entered with True Vegas Style with Jazz.
Yeah, this is true. I came in, an hour before my show, and I got there, threw my clothes on and got down there and just sang,
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Hello, I am here with
Michael Daingerfield, otherwise known as Appaloosa, or Brayburn.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
That I would work and pay my rent. No, I just remember auditioning for it, and I sent it in from my home studio. And then they were like, my agent called and said, yeah, you booked My Little Pony. And I remember actually wanting to get on the show because I was like, because it's the iconic show, and I remember it from like the 80s, and you're not that old, so you wouldn't know the 80s. Well, you'll know the 80s version. But so it was kind of cool, and I was like, oh, right on. And then I did the episode, recorded it, went great, had fun, and then years later learned that there's this huge following, and there you go.
Would you ever do a show like My Little Pony again?
Of course. I'm actually secretly hoping that the writers, now that they've met me, will write Brayburn back into the show.
What is your opinion on the Brony community?
A lot of love here. A lot of love. A lot of sincere people that are genuine and good energy overall. I'm very impressed, actually. I had no idea. I've been to other conventions for other things, but there's just a nice, genuine feel here, and I'm very impressed.
Out of all the shows you've been on, which is your favorite?
That I've been on? Well, MLP is starting to go up the list, but I would say like Ace Ventura is a big one for me because that was my first job, and it was, the voice of Ace, and that was really cool. I've enjoyed doing a lot of the comedies that I've done, like George of the Jungle or Yakety Yak's been a lot of fun. I've worked with all these guys, which, Lee and Brian Drummond and all those guys, a lot of fun. Doing a show now called you might have to edit this stuff out, actually. I don't know if we're supposed to mention that. But, and then, on camera-wise, Smallville's a big one for me, because that was a lot of fun to do and play that villain and take over the world and all that. So that was kind of neat.
I remember Yakety Yak. It didn't last long, but it was a great show.
Well, we were all shocked that it didn't get picked up for a second run, because the show was good and it got traction on Nickelodeon. It did well, and yet for some reason we didn't do more. I was very surprised by that.
Is there any way to find all the episodes
for Yakety Yak? I think it's on YouTube. I think it is. Yeah.
Just the theme song.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore I got some footage off YouTube. Maybe they took it down, but because on my website michaeldangerfield.com, you can go check out. Make sure you spell Dangerfield correctly with an I after the A.
Best last name here.
Thank you. You'll see my video animation demo on the site. So you can cut. It's like it's just clips of all various shows I've worked on and just cuts. And so I got footage for that from Yakety Yak Online.
What are some techniques you use to get into character?
Well, I was just talking about this. Basically, I either use my own voice and change the attitude a little bit of that, or I use like a sort of a standard archetype voice for the character. If he's like a nerd, then I sort of, I kind of get into my kind of nerd thing and see how that works. Or adjust it maybe, or the other tool I use is I pull from, celebrity voices or people that I know around me. And that way I can, that my uncle, that would be the perfect character voice for this role, kind of thing, right?
Thank you so much for the interview.
No problem. Thank you. Cheers.
Hello, I am here with
Peter New, voice of Big Macintosh, among others.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony? Would you ever do a show like that again?
Yes, absolutely.
What is your favorite episode of the show?
The one where we have to switch places with Applejack. I don't know the name of the episode.
Was that also your favorite episode to voice in?
Yes. Actually, Hearts and Hooves was my favorite to actually voice, for sure.
Out of all the shows you've done, which would have to be your favorite?
You know what? I ultimately have to go LPS over Pony, just because I've had a lot more to do, and that has been a lot more fun.
Which was LPS?
Littlest Pet Shop.
Which character that you have played is your favorite?
Big Macintosh.
What are some
possibly Mary Frances the Pig.
What are some techniques you usually use to get in the character?
I usually just look at the script and decide what the script calls for, and then fall back on impulses.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
I love them. I love the Bronies. I think they're fantastic.
Are you aware of the website Reddit?
I am aware of Reddit.
I went onto Reddit. I asked for some questions for interviews. Do you want to answer some Reddit questions?
If I don't want to answer the questions, I won't.
Okay.
This is the most compelling part of the interview. The pages are turning. And
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized ponies or one pony-sized duck?
100 duck-sized ponies.
If you had to work with any voice actor, dead or alive, who would it be?
Mel Blanc.
And would you rather fight unicorns, pegasi, or earth ponies?
Unicorns.
Thank you so much for the interview.
I loved this interview. I didn't know it was going to be like this speed round.
It wasn't going to be, but your answers were so quick.
I know, it's great. I think we should do more speed round interviews. It's what do you want to talk about now?
Oh, no.
Nah. Okay, bye. Keep your microphone. No, you're supposed to let me walk off, otherwise the joke doesn't work.
Let's try it again.
No, let's just cut.
Hello, I am here with...
Sam Vincent, who plays Flim on My Little Pony. Hi, among other things.
What went through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
I thought to myself, my gosh, this is an extremely long song. I hope I can learn it in time for the record. Actually, when I first heard the song, I was really happy because it was homage to Music Man. I don't know if you were aware of that. Well, I guess everybody's aware of that now. But anyway, yeah, so it was an exciting chance to do kind of like a musical theater type piece, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I was very excited. Hello, Pinky. Back off, Pinky, this is my interview. Sorry. Yes, so.
Would you ever do a show like this again, given the opportunity?
You mean your show?
No, a show like My Little Pony.
I'll be on your show again, no problem. Yes, absolutely. Love My Little Pony, would love to be on it. Over and over and over again.
What's your favorite episode of the show that you've favorite episode of the show?
Favorite episode of My Little Pony. I really enjoyed I don't know all the names of the episodes. I really enjoyed the episode where Pinkie Pie was having all these little twitches and stuff, and it would always things would like fall out of the sky, and like Twilight was completely like what was it called? Yes, yeah, that and basically everything she's like, oh no, I got like an itchy nose, and I was all like, you know, and then it was like something's gonna fall out of the sky, bing. That was like one of my favorite episodes.
Out of all the shows you've worked on, which is your favorite?
You mean like shows in general, like in my whole career?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna have to say My Little Pony, right? Because you got to say that, right? And then after, I would say Ed, Edd n Eddy was really fun.
I know you worked on one of the Sonic shows, right?
Oh, the Sonic. Well, I did the singing voice for Sonic the Hedgehog for Sonic Underground, and I play another hedgehog on Littlest Pet Shop, Russell the Hedgehog, and that's kind of fun. I get to sing on that. And right now I'm working on a show called Slug Terra for Disney XD, which is a lot of fun too. So that's currently shows I'm enjoying.
What are some of the techniques you usually use to get into character?
I always warm up in my car when I'm driving. Just get, like find the character, driving along, could be anything, just get into the character, get into the voice, and hopefully by the time I get to work, I'm ready to go.
Lastly, what do you think of the Brony community?
You guys seem pretty nice. I haven't met a mean Brony yet. So gotta say, you guys, I give hooves up. Can we do that? Hooves up?
Hooves up.
Hooves up. Hooves up to the Brony community. Woo, woo. Yeah. Is that it?
Yep. Thank you so much.
That was easy. All right. Ciao. Good to meet you, man.
Hello, I am here with
Trevor Devall.
And who do you voice on the show?
Iron Will, Fancy Pants, and Hoity Toity.
So, what was going through your mind when you were casted for My Little Pony?
Awesome. I have a job.
Would you ever do a show like My Little Pony again?
Absolutely. In fact, I just did on Thursday. Did another episode of it. It was great, and I think I'm slated to do another episode in a couple weeks. Of course, I can't tell you anything about it, but yeah, no, I love it. It's great.
What was your favorite episode of the show?
All the ones I was in. Actually, the Iron Will episode. I loved it. I thought it was very, very funny, very well written, and I had a ball doing it.
Do your characters reflect you in any way?
Oh yes, all of them. All of them.
I feel a little Iron Willish right at the moment, to tell you the truth.
Which character that you have played is your favorite?
Again, probably Iron Will, although Fancy Pants was great. He seems to be well liked and by the fans, and I was nominated for an award for my performance as Fancy Pants, so that was something, I suppose. But yes, I love them all equally. To give you the politically correct answer,
And what are some techniques you use to get into character?
Read the script. Yeah, I go with my gut. I go with my instinct. I just kind of like let it take me wherever it's going to take me.
What are your thoughts on the Brony community?
They're great, very supportive. It's really cool to see a very narrowly focused fan base that really knows the show. It's awesome.
If you could work with any voice actor, dead or alive, who would it be?
Probably Billy West.
And there you have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.